Pre-dawn came slowly over Karst Transit Ward, the sky above Tandara 4 still heavy with night when the blood crows slipped into position. Sodium lamps cast long, broken shadows across abandoned transit rails and civic blocks that had not seen full maintenance since before the succession wars. The district was alive just enough, power cycling through old grids, industrial systems idling, to blur sensor returns and hide quiet movement. It was the kind of place where something could watch for days without being noticed. Diana studied the tactical overlay in silence. A recon cell had been operating here for several nights. Careful, disciplined, never staying long enough to invite pursuit. Independent mercenaries by profile, operating under a short-term contract, their signature centered on a single Phoenix Hawk acting as command and eyes forward. The rest of the pattern fit neatly: speed, avoidance, and a clean exit the moment pressure mounted. This was not a contract for destruction. The employer had been clear, even if the language had been deliberately vague. The task was to observe the observers, confirm what the Ash Viper cell was watching, and force them to break contact. No escalation, no trophies. Let them run once the picture was clear. Mission briefing. Mission type, scan, threat level low. Location, Karsk Transit Ward, Tandara 4. Karsk Transit Ward is a mid-density urban district, still active enough to mask movement and sensor noise, but degraded enough that full planetary authorities are absent. Deployment time 0420 hours. Weather is expected to be clear. Intel picked up Ash Viper recon unit operating within the area of operation. Intel suggests the target to be a modified Phoenix Hawk mech, possibly equipped with enhanced sensors. Mission objectives: primary, complete full scan of target mech and withdraw. Secondary, scan all hostile units. Op 4, Ash Viper Recon Cell, Independent Mercenary Detachment. Phoenix Hawk, Medium Skirmisher Mech, Threat Level Low. Locus, Light Scout Mech. Possibly Escort, Threat Level Low. At 4:20 local time, civilian movement dropped to near zero. Transit corridors fell quiet. The ward belonged to machines and shadows now. Diana keyed the channel, her voice low and controlled. We move in close, read their intent, and pressure just enough to make them peel away. No pursuit past the ward perimeter. The blood crows eased forward into the ruins of Karsk, knowing full well that somewhere ahead, another set of mercenaries was doing exactly the same thing, watching, waiting, and preparing to disappear the moment they were truly seen. They were not here to destroy the Ash Viper recon cell. They were here to see what the Vipers were seeing and make them leave. Turn 1. The Phoenix Hawk revealed itself first, gliding down a central roadway with measured restraint. Its movement was deliberate, unhurried, its sensors sweeping the urban corridors for intrusion rather than targets. Moments later, its advanced sensors confirmed what it had suspected: 3 hostile signatures entering range from the east. Hammer's Wasp surged into the ward at speed, jump jets flaring as she cleared an intersection and dropped low. Through her canopy, she caught sight of the black camouflage silhouette ahead, its dark paint almost dissolving into shadow. "Looks like we found our bird," she reported, marking the contact. Above the streets, Raven lifted the Griffin onto a tall transit building, the city unfolding beneath her into firing lanes and movement vectors. The readout resolved cleanly now, a medium battle mech matching Phoenix Hawk parameters, with a lighter contact trailing close behind. Likely a Locust. As if on cue, the Locust darted forward, skimming the pavement and slipping past the Phoenix Hawk to take point. Behind Hammer, Nova Tans, call sign Bullet, brought the hunchback in close, its autocannon tracking steadily. No one fired. Both sides were still measuring, still deciding whether this was worth turning violent. Turn 1, Battle Damage Summary. At the end of Turn 1, no firing took place for this turn. Both the Blood Crows and the Ash Vipers did not suffer any damage on their pilots or mechs. Turn 2. The Phoenix Hawk broke line of sight by sliding behind a civic block, keeping most of its mass masked from the Griffin's weapons. Hammer vaulted another open intersection, landing hard but clean as the target's signature sharpened. "Target sighted," she reported. "Still out of scan range." Bullet pushed forward to keep pace, his tone edged with caution as he reminded her about exposed flanks. Hammer ignored him, jaw set tight behind her visor. The Locust accelerated, weaving between buildings and positioning itself squarely between Hammer and the Phoenix Hawk, shielding its commander while keeping the Wasp under watch. Raven shifted rooftops, jump jets flaring as firing lanes opened. The Phoenix Hawk fired first, not to hit, but to warn. Its large laser sliced through the air, where the Wasp had been a heartbeat earlier. Hammer snapped off a shot mid-jump, her medium laser and SRMs streaking wide. The Locust answered immediately, one medium laser glancing close enough to rattle her cockpit. Bullet checked his range, still no viable shot. Raven risked it anyway. The Griffin's PPC cracked, but the Phoenix Hawk's positioning held, the shot detonating against masonry instead. They weren't amateurs. Raven felt that clearly now. Turn 2. Battle damage summary. At the end of Turn 2, both Blood Crows and Ash Vipers exchanged shots, but none of the hits connected. No damage was recorded. Turn 3. Raven settled the Griffin into a sniper's perch, covering the most likely extraction route through the ward. Below, the Locust slid south, shadowing the Phoenix Hawk's movement and threatening any approach. Hammer surged after the Locust, tearing down a side street to get behind the escort. A bold move that forced Bullet to adjust course and expose herself to cover her. Then Bullet stopped. Instead of chasing, he planted the Hunchback squarely in the intersection, locking down the avenue and cutting off the Phoenix Hawk's clean withdrawal route. It wasn't flashy. It was correct. The Ash Vipers reacted instantly. The Phoenix Hawk's jump jets roared as it vaulted onto a rooftop behind Hammer, weapons tracking down toward her exposed rear. Hammer and Bullet both fired on the Locust, medium lasers biting into armor as Hammer clipped a leg and Bullet tagged center torso. Hammer followed with a kick, scraping plating from the Locust's shin. The Locust fired back viciously, lasers chewing into the Hunchback's right side. Now elevated and exposed, the Phoenix Hawk drew Raven's attention. The Griffin's PPC thundered, followed by LRMs. The PPC went wide, but 6 missiles slammed into the Hawk's left side. Instead of pressing Hammer, the Phoenix Hawk turned its guns on Bullet. The large laser burned into the Hunchback's left arm. "I'm taking heat here," Bullet called out. "That's why you're in the Hunchback," Hammer shot back. Raven muted her mic before she smiled. Turn 3, battle damage summary. At the end of Turn 3, the Locust received hits from both the Wasp and Hunchback, taking damage to its left leg and center torso. The Locust also took a kick onto its right leg. The Hunchback received a hit in return in its right torso and another hit from a large laser to the left arm. The Phoenix Hawk took damage from LRMs into left arm. The Griffin and Wasp were not fired upon. Turn 4. Raven held her rooftop position as the Phoenix Hawk disengaged westward, heat rising while it threaded buildings toward the extraction corridor. Hammer leapt onto an adjacent rooftop and finally established a data link, the hacking program beginning its work. Bullet closed in, tightening the net. The Locust swung around behind Hammer, threatening the scan. Raven reacted instantly, PPC flaring and tearing into the Locust's torso, damaging internals and forcing it to stagger away. The Phoenix Hawk dumped heat through secondary weapons, tagging Bullet again. Bullet answered with autocannon fire, the shell screaming past as a medium laser caught the Hawk's leg. Then the Locust struck back. Lasers tore into Hammer's rear armor, punching into internals. Alarms flooded her cockpit as the gyro failed. The Wasp toppled backward across the rooftop, Hammer slamming hard against her restraints. "Gyro hit. Scan interrupted," she growled. Turn 4, battle damage summary. At the end of Turn 4, the Locust took further damage to its torso, damaging the right torso internal structure. The Phoenix Hawk took a medium laser hit to its left leg while targeting the Hunchback. Hammer's Wasp took a hit on its rear center and right torso, hitting both internals and damaging the gyro. The mech fell, injuring Hammer. Turn 5. The Phoenix Hawk bolted for open ground, desperate to escape autocannon range. Hammer stayed prone, refusing to risk a worse fall. Raven held steady, sighting carefully despite rising heat. The Locust repositioned to guard the Hawk's retreat. Bullet ran the Hunchback forward, forcing close engagement. The Phoenix Hawk lashed out at Raven. Miss. Bullet restarted the hack. Hammer, flat on her back, fired anyway. Her medium laser burned into the Hawk's arm. "I can still shoot," she snapped. Bullet groaned. Raven fired again, but heat climbed dangerously and the shots went wide. Turn 5, battle damage summary. At the end of Turn 5, the Phoenix Hawk took a hit on its right arm. Not other hits were registered. Hammer remained injured, status light injury. Turn 6. The Phoenix Hawk jumped onto a massive structure near the extraction point, its last chance. Hammer remained prone. Raven held position, alarms screaming as heat pushed into the red. The Locust clipped Raven's flank from concealment. Bullets slammed the Hunchback into position. Terminal beeping as the uplink reestablished. 73% loading. The Phoenix Hawk struck Raven again, burning into her arm. Raven returned fire and missed, frustration boiling over as warning klaxons filled the cockpit. Then, "Download complete," Bullet announced. The Phoenix Hawk and Locust disengaged instantly, vanishing into the transit maze before pursuit could even be considered. Raven exhaled slowly. "Let them go. We got what we came for." She surveyed the field. 3 damaged mechs, 1 injured pilot, 1 grounded machine. "I'll take this over failure," Raven said, already calling the dropship in. Above Karsk Transit Ward, the Ash Vipers were gone. But whatever they had been watching, no belonged to the Blood Crows. Turn 6, battle damage summary. At the end of Turn 6, only the Griffin took a large laser hit to the right arm. Not other hits were registered. Hammer remained injured, status light injury. Back in her living quarters, Diana let the door seal behind her and brought up the unit ledger. The numbers scrolled past in clean columns: parts, labor, expedited refits, structural inspections, and the bottom line tightened her jaw. Repairs had been thorough and necessary, but the cost was brutal. By the time the last line item settled, most of the mission payout had been consumed just keeping their machines combat-worthy. She leaned back, exhaled, and tried to shake the sour taste by pulling up the contract terminal. The screen chimed almost immediately. An encrypted notification resolved. No insignia, no sender ID. The same hand as before. The message was concise and unmistakable. A follow-up Flashpoint contract, classified, tagged at a 4-skull difficulty. The compensation was exceptional. Salvage rights expanded. The promise, implied rather than stated, of additional recoveries beyond standard terms. Diana read it twice, then a third time. The temptation was real. So was the danger. A mission like that assumed depth, redundant pilots, spare hulls, room to absorb losses. The Blood Crows did not have that yet. Not after the repairs. Not with one pilot still nursing injuries and another just settling into the unit. The payout glittered, but the risks were the kind that ended companies quietly, without headlines. She declined the offer. Not with regret, just with patience. They had delivered cleanly. They had proven discretion and competence. Opportunities like this had a way of circling back when the time was right. With the Flashpoint archived, Diana filtered the public board to contracts that matched the unit's standing. 2 offers remained: a 3-skull frontal assault, likely involving a lance of mediums, or worse, heavies, requiring sustained pressure and little room for error, and a 2-skull ambush, the kind of work the Blood Crows understood well: controlled engagement, favorable terrain, and a clean exit if things went wrong. The decision made itself. She flagged the ambush contract for briefing and closed the terminal. Tomorrow she would walk the team through the plan, assign roles, and make sure everyone understood the margins. For now, it was enough to rest. The next mission would demand their full attention, and Diana intended to make sure the Blood Crows were ready when the moment came. Mission debrief. Mission outcome. Mission success. Primary objective met. Scan of target mech complete. Secondary objective not met. No additional units scanned. Contract payout confirmed. Bonus withheld. Mission kills negative. No kills registered. Turns taken 6. 1 mech warrior injury detected. Talia Kyle, call sign Hammer shoulder trauma, light injury, treatment recommended. Friendly mechs damage, Griffin damage minimal. Hunchback, damage light. Armor replacement recommended. Wasp, damage moderate. Internal structure repair and gyro part replacement advised. Salvage granted as per contract class and applied. Salvage capped at 10%, non-negotiable. Thank you for your support and interest in the Blood Crows project. I hope you're enjoying the videos and the story-driven battle report format. You can help the community grow by subscribing to the channel and sharing the videos and stories from the Blood Crows campaign. Your support and engagement are the biggest motivation to keep this project moving forward. You're also welcome to join and support the Blood Crows Facebook community group, where more frequent and up-to-date battle reports are shared. Finally, your likes, comments, and suggestions are always appreciated and help shape future content. A Blood Crows production,